And it seems like with this debate, we careen from tragedy to tragedy and nothing ever changes. How do you guys stay in the fight?
You have to. I mean, you absolutely have to. It's what you were saying. You said, oh, Julie, when you see this, you know, we're both going to start crying. And I've met a lot of the people who were in that tape, and every time I meet someone, I realize they've lost a family member, they've lost a loved one because of gun violence. I think, like, I can't not do anything. After Sandy Hook, it took me 2 years to come to every town and approach them and say, like, what can I do? Because I thought I just can't bear this as a parent, as a civilian. This is something that I have to do.
You talked about freedom. Talk about what you think our kids should have the freedom to do.
They should have the freedom to go to a concert. They should have the freedom to go to church, to go to school, to walk down the street. You know, people talk about a constitutional amendment to own a gun, but we also have life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. If you don't have liberty, you know, that's one of the things that's guaranteed in our Constitution.
You know, I mentioned to you, too, that a conservative wrote a piece last week that got a lot of attention about maybe opening up the conversation about the Second Amendment. His name's Bret Stephens, and he said the intellectually honest way to have this debate is to say that this isn't what was intended, that we're an armed population. This was a right to bear arms against foreign militias.
Yeah. Look, there's no doubt that I think that the Second Amendment decision ought to be looked at, but we also have to look at the decision itself. The NRA tries to characterize it as an absolute right, but Rehnquist went out of his way in writing that decision that says that it's actually the Second Amendment is subject to reasonable regulation, like a background check, like making sure that domestic abusers can't get their hands on guns, like making sure that people who have been committed to mental hospitals involuntarily shouldn't be able to get their hands on